All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We're very excited to continue our email marketing webinar series. This is number 2. Today's topic will be personalizing easy, free email marketing. And I am excited to pass over the baton here to our product manager, Steve, and he is going to kick us off.
Right, thanks, Daniela. Welcome, everybody. So excited to be here. That's right, we're on number 2 now. So in our first session, which was just a couple weeks ago, we learned about email for simple ticket events. So again, that's ones that got just 1 or 2 tickets, maybe general admission and VIP. And it was really just a 101 because you can use it for advanced tickets as well, the things that we learned there. Today, we're going to dive deeper into how to really connect with your supporters and engage with them by personalizing the email. And how we do that is by bringing in historical data, all that awesome information you have about your supporters and donors, and past event attendees, and then turning that into really dynamic and rich recipient lists, and then including personal information that you have about their support over the years to really make them feel valued. And then the next 2 ones that we'll be doing, so we're off next week, we'll be back December 2nd and talking about advanced ticket events. So that's when you've got multiple days, multiple sessions, and then we'll cover reporting and email statistics on December 16th. And there will be even more sessions coming. So make sure you're subscribing to GiveSignup.blog so that you are in the know whenever we release the next webinar. So housekeeping for today. So using the GoToWebinar, there is the ability to minimize and maximize your control panel using the arrow button in the upper left-hand corner. If you have a question, use the question pane. We will try to answer it there, or if it's really relevant to the whole group, we'll bring that up at the end of the presentation. And if it doesn't get answered, do not worry. We will reach out and make sure that we follow up with you and get your question answered. And then a recorded version of this webinar, we'll send that out in the next 24 to 48 hours so you can share it and relive some of your favorite moments, or just review any of the demo that we go over today if you want to get some more information or cover it a little bit slower. And then also you'll have an opportunity in this email that goes out with the recording, if you want to schedule a one-on-one workshop with yours truly or with Elizabeth, that we can go through and look at your specific event or your email that you're going to be sending out with your list. Happy to go through and do screen shares. We'll do that on a personal level, one-on-one, because obviously you've got some sensitive data there that we wouldn't want to do in front of a group. And now, the nonprofit circle. If you are not part of this, you're missing out. There's tons of great conversation going on between nonprofits that are using our platform to sell tickets, to raise money, using fundraising campaigns, donation forms, donation websites. So take that QR code in the bottom right-hand corner, and that will pull up our Facebook page. You can join it, or you can just search for it on Facebook. Also wanted to cover 50K grant giveaway, Giving Tuesday. You've been hearing about it all this time, and we are just around the corner, looking at Giving Tuesday on November 30th. Want to remind you that in order to be eligible for that giveaway, must be a 501c3, have 501c3 status, and be eligible for the GiveSignup platform. You do need to use one of our products, so a GiveSignup or RunSignup website, donation form, fundraising campaign, and you must be one of the first 500 organizations to raise at least $100 on Giving Tuesday, again, November 30th, and that starts at 12 a.m. Eastern time. So have your supporters that are night owls, make sure they're online and they're making their donations right then and there, so that can get you eligible and get you that grant. So today's our speakers, that's me. I am Steve Bingham-Hawk. I am a product manager here at GiveSignup, RunSignup. Prior to my work with this company, I was organizing events. So I've been working with nonprofits for the last 16 years, a lot on the endurance side, but also doing galas and concerts and street festivals, and just love all the good that nonprofits do in this world and how events facilitate all of that goodness. So, and then I'll turn it over to Elizabeth, our amazing account manager, who I'm sure a lot of you have been talking with, and she's the one that has your back on all the support needs.
Hi everyone, I'm Elizabeth and I am the GiveSignup account manager. So if you've ever emailed with info@givesignup.org, you've probably talked to me, or if you haven't, you talked to Steve.
Awesome. So what we want to cover today is just talk a little bit about GiveSignup, RunSignup, who we are if you're not familiar with us, or if you're familiar with the endurance side, our registration products, because you've held a race on our platform. covering again, why is it so important to use our email marketing tool? And then Elizabeth's going to go ahead and demo personalizing an email and using that within our donation website. And then I'm going to give you some action steps, right? So when we get all this awesome information in webinars, what are you going to do with that after day? I'm going to tell you. And then we're going to cover any questions and then talk about what our next session is. So who we are, founded in 2010. Again, we were focused on creating a free and purpose-built technology for endurance events. And so many nonprofits have been using our platform for their endurance events, but we know that you all are doing so much more than that and have so many more events, campaigns, efforts to raise funds and support your cause. And so that bore out the new products that you've seen with our ticket events and donation websites. We've been supporting 10,000 plus nonprofits. We've raised almost 1.5 billion. It's crazy. 10-year plan. We're always focused on how can we help you all more. So please give us feedback, things that you're looking for, things maybe you've seen elsewhere that you want to make sure that you can utilize on our platform. We want to hear from you. And we want to be your partner to grow your supporter base. So that's why we look at this as our platform as being an all-in-one comprehensive way to engage with all of your supporters, hit them on every level, and really make it easy for you and simplify your data and all your reporting. I mean, so many benefits to using an all-in-one platform like GiveSignup, RunSignup. So why are we using email marketing with GiveSignup? I know some of you, like myself, have been with some other platforms where you're paying monthly fees, annual fees, setup fees, and guys, this is free email marketing, and you get unlimited contacts, unlimited emails. So there is no tier where you add a database of 10,000, suddenly your monthly rate's gone up 50 bucks. None of that, no bill, no budget line item to worry about. With our email marketing platform or tool, it's customizable and personalized, and that's really the focus of today. And it gets you a direct integration with your supporter and purchase data. So that way you're not pulling data from where you're collecting revenue and then trying to use email on another system. It's all housed in one place, less room for error, more opportunities for that personalization and engagement. And then insightful reporting and recipient management, so you can see who's getting email addresses are getting bounced or recipients that are unsubscribing. And did I mention it? It is free. So, and then let's talk a little bit more about why not just use the email marketing tool, but why should you personalize it? Why is that important in general? First, it's to stand out. I mean, we all get so much communication these days. That's not going to change, I don't think. But when somebody sees that notification come in and you've used their first name, I think that instantly grabs people's attention. All this information that you've been collecting from your supporters over the years, from the donations they've made to events they've attended, you can put this to use with the personalization that we're doing in our platform. And of course, because you're giving that information and they're seeing that that you understand who they are more than just an email address, you're engaging and connecting with them in a new way and showing that thoughtful understanding of the relationship. You know how they've been there for you in the past, and you're looking at how they can be engaged and support you in the future and how that benefits both you and your supporter. And then informing them of additional opportunities to build on that previous support. So kind of harking on that same point, but letting them know that it doesn't just stop with this current email campaign that we're talking about here, or the current ask that we're giving. There's more to come, and it's not always financial. There's lots of different ways that people can support you, and you can let them know about volunteer opportunities and other ways. And then it improves, of course, open and click-through rates, like I mentioned. So if they see something where it's like, well, this person, even out of curiosity, they're like, this person knows me, and they know that this cause matters to me, that's going to get an open. And so that's more of the marketing focused email. So looking at more transactional. So these are folks that have maybe already made a donation, or they purchased a ticket already. So making sure that you're thanking them for that recent contribution, that's sort of a follow-up to that confirmation email they get after they make the donation or buy the ticket. Remind them of their fundraising goal progress if you've got a minimum set, and let them know, hey, you've got this much more to go. I'm sharing key details about ticket purchases, the event schedule, other information. So getting them excited, giving them an event guide, but also pulling in like, hey, we know that you purchased a VIP ticket. VIP box office or will call opens at this time, and make sure you wear your brightest ball gown. So those are those opportunities where you can really make sure that they're going to have the most amazing event experience. And then, of course, that strengthens the donor and event attendee experience because you are making sure that they are prepared to have that amazing experience with you. And then teeing up additional support, kind of like we covered on the last slide, but letting them know, hey, we know that you got the general admission ticket, but did you know that you could upgrade to the VIP, and that also gets you access to this, or a nice sit down with our executive director. So use that data to your advantage. All right, so these are the things that Elizabeth's going to cover in the demo in just a minute here. So we're going to talk about how to personalize, and that means importing your contacts with historical data and using custom lists for that. Utilizing default lists with current fundraisers, donors, or ticket holders. So that's that information about what ticket they bought or how much have they donated so far. Then combining those lists to create something really dynamic that stays up to date as you continually accept donations and tickets, so that when it finally goes out after you've scheduled the email campaign, it's only going to the relevant people at the right time. And then customizing your email with your content and branding, so putting in logos and links to learn about other things with your organization. And then personalizing your communication with data placeholder tags. So that's when you import the data from the custom list, actually getting that inserted and making a mass email feel like a very personal communication to a valued supporter. All right, Elizabeth, you're up. We're going to go through how to do this, guys. So this is the meat here, so follow along.
Demo time. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple of things, everything that Steve just covered on the last slide in action. So I'm going to actually start over here in a Google Sheet. So this is my custom list. So I only have 6 entries on here, but obviously if you have a lot of donor data, you can import as much as you can for free, as Steve has mentioned probably 5 times already. So I'm just working with this information, and I want you to notice the different columns that I've set up in here, because this is going to be important later. So I have donor first name, donor last name, and email. Obviously email is the most important column here of any of them. And then I also have these 4 custom columns that I've come up with for different things. So I'm going to show you sending out a like an appeal email for the end of the year, kind of an example template for that, and how I would use this information in that email. So I have a column for consecutive donor years, another one for 2019 and 2020 donation amounts. And then I also have a donor level column. So this is kind of like if your nonprofit does anything where at a certain amount you assign them a certain level, or you have different like sponsor programs or anything where you're kind of categorizing people into different levels, you could do something like what I'm going to show with this. And I just kept it pretty general so that you can apply it however it would work in your organization. So I've actually already downloaded this over here as a CSV, and I'm going to go into my donation website. So this is my nonprofit, Fredericksburg Community Green Space, and I'm going to send out an email, which I've actually already put together on this tab, and I'll show you that in a second. But first, I want to go through kind of the basics of email. We covered this in the first webinar in this series, so I'm going to keep it brief, and you can go back to that one if you're missing any of the in-between details, but I'll just show you the quick setup. So I've already turned on email for my donation website. And you'll see there's 2 tiles here, one for the transactional emails that Steve was talking about. So things like if you're reaching out to current donors, current fundraisers, or current ticket holders, if this were a ticket event. And then another one for marketing. So this would be promotional emails or appeals to people that haven't already donated. And we have that separated out for you in this email platform because you want to have a separate sending list for each of those so that people can unsubscribe from marketing if they don't want to receive your emails, but they still can get your transactional emails if they do donate, and you need to communicate with them about their donation. So I've left this as it is. It'll auto pull the name of the donation website, but you could also change it to a name. For a ticket event, you might actually want to change it to a person's name if there's an event director associated that is the person that they would be communicating with. But I'm just going to leave it like this, and I saved it, and I'll save it again just for the exercise. And then I'm gonna import that custom list that I just showed you. It's actually already in here because like I said, I've set up the email over here on a different tab for the sake of time, but I'm gonna show you what it looks like to import a list because I think seeing things will help with training. So I'm gonna call this something different for this sake. So I'm gonna call it ease list. I'm gonna click create list. So I still have 0 contacts. All I've done so far is name my list. So I can add new contacts here. The single entryway would be if I just have like 1 or 2 people that I need to quickly add to an existing list. But in this case, I'm starting with a CSV, so I'm going to upload my CSV. It'll ask you, it'll show you the columns, it auto reads those, and then it'll ask you if row 1 is a header row. This is what I recommend, that you always have a header row in these. It just makes the import process easier. I'm going to click continue. So here it's auto matching things by reading what my column headers were. So it sees that, okay, donor first name is first name, donor last name is last name, obviously email is email. These are my custom columns, if you remember from the other tab. So this is where it gets a little bit more advanced. So I want to include this information in my email. I want to be able to refer to how many times somebody has been a donor. And so I want that data to come over in my import. So I'm going to, in this dropdown, instead of skipping the column or associating it with something that already exists, which it wouldn't even let you pick anything that we've already associated up here, I'm going to select custom placeholder here. And you'll see when I do that, it auto creates a placeholder tag. So quick context on this. If you've heard us, and by us I mean GiveSignup, RunSignup, refer to replacement tags or dynamic placeholders or dynamic tags, that generally all means the same thing. And you may or may not be familiar with it. It obviously is a concept that exists in other platforms and other places. You've used an email platform in the past like MailChimp, this concept exists. So this is essentially just a tag that will associate the data in your CSV, in this case, within the email, so that when I'm sending out this email, whatever the person's email address that I'm emailing to, and whatever data I have associated with this consecutive donor years tag is, that will match and it'll auto-populate in the email. So everybody feels like they're getting a personalized, customized email with their data and their information in it. And they can tell that you've gone to the effort of personalizing it. They don't have to see on the back end that you just did this automatically through a CSV. It looks to them like you sat there and typed out how many years Chris has been a donor to the community green space. So this will make your life much easier. And if you haven't messed around with custom placeholders on any other platform or even on our platform before, we're happy to support you through that, but it's actually really easy to use, so don't be afraid of it. And it's going to make making my email a lot prettier and easier. And I'll show you that in a second. So I'm going to do this for the other 3 custom tags here. And I'm just going to leave the default ones that it gives me and save. And then I'm going to start my import. So 6 contacts will be imported. So it starts my import. You can see it's working on it. Sometimes it takes a few minutes. Okay, it's completed. So I could go back and upload another list if I wanted to add, say I had multiple CSVs that I wanted to add to this custom list. It doesn't have to be one CSV to one list. You can continually add contacts to these. But I'm good, so I'm going to exit, and it'll take you to the page for that custom list. So now I can see all the data that I've imported. So the names of the people that I imported, and these are all the placeholders that I created. Don't worry about how they look on here. This shows you what the data is that's associated with those people. So it kind of breaks down what I had in my sheet. But you're going to be able to just click to add these placeholders into your email. So you don't need to worry about being able to copy paste from this or anything like that. If you want to remove somebody from your list, you have that ability over here. You can edit the information that you've associated with them, as you can see. So I'm going to hop over to this tab where I've already started creating an email. And at the top, I'm going to point out I've already added this list here. So this is the same list that I just imported with the tags. So I could send this to multiple lists, and Steve kind of got at that before, where he was talking about how we have these lists that we auto-generate for you based on the information within your donation website, your ticket event, whatever you're using. So we have this donors list here, which dynamically updates. And what that means is that if you have people actively donating to your website and you decide to include this list, then whoever has donated to your website at the time that you send this email, so say you schedule it a week out or something, they will receive the email. So this will automatically add in new donors to that. So in this case, I'm sending out an appeal, so I'm asking people for donations. So I want to exclude anybody who's already donated this year because I don't want them to get another appeal. That's kind of tacky. So I'm going to do that. And then the really cool thing about this is that if somebody donates in between me scheduling, setting up this email, and when it actually goes out, they'll get added to the donors list. And so their email will be automatically excluded. So say Chris donates in the next like 5 minutes before I send out this email. He will not receive the appeal because I've excluded the donors list, and he will get added to that before I'm sending the email. So that's really cool, really powerful. It allows you to kind of segment your list without having to do anything except click a couple of buttons. So, and I'll show you on a ticket event in a second how that can apply too. So I'm going to save that. I'm excluding my current donors. I'm just emailing the people that I want to donate again for 2021. And I'm going to put a subject line in here because I don't have one yet. I'm just going to call it 2021 appeal. You would probably want to do something a little bit more engaging, but I'm just going to call it that for the sake of time. And then I've already filled in my email. So if you'll notice, I've already added in replacement tags, and these are the same replacement tags that are in my CSV. So they show up in this little drop down here, and if I click them, they get added. So I just clicked consecutive donor years to add it here. And that number that's associated with each person will auto-populate for the person at that email address. So Chris has 5 consecutive donor years. This will say, we appreciate your support over the last 5 years. And obviously this is filling in the person's first name. Down here, I have their 2020 donation amount because I'm asking them to match or meet that same amount that they donated last year. So I want to refer back to how much they donated just in case they forget, or just to kind of show them like, this is how much you donated, like kind of guilt trip them. And then down here, I have the donor level. So I showed that in the CSV. So that's the gold, silver, bronze. So I'm just going to say, thanks for being a gold level donor. We are so lucky we get to grow with you. So again, referring to their past support and kind of making them feel like I'm personalizing this email for them because I care about them, because I do care about them. And yeah, so really making it personalized to them. Last thing I'm going to do is put the donate link to my website, which I don't have off the top of my head, but I would have grabbed it from the view website tab, but I'm just going to put GiveSignup.org just to show you what the button will look like. So I named my button donate, and then in this email, they'll be able to click the donate button and go right to my website to donate. So I'm actually going to send this email. So a bunch of my coworkers are going to get an email out of nowhere. So again, you can kind of review it. You see what it looks like. You can see you're using your replacement tags here. You have a donate button at the bottom. You can see I could add defaults. So say somebody in my sheet didn't have a consecutive, like they hadn't ever donated before, but I had added them in because I want them to donate this year. I could put some kind of default value so that that doesn't just show up as an empty like replacement tag. So if I want to put like 0 or something, whatever would apply in the way that I'm using it within that sentence, I could use that default value. This doesn't apply to me. I have all the columns for everybody, so I'm just going to skip it. I'm going to confirm my email. And now it's sending. So I will be able to check on my email in my sent emails list. I can look at the email reports. We have future webinars on those and see when it delivers. It usually delivers within 5 minutes of you clicking send, or you can schedule it, which I decided to just send it now. So that's what that looks like on a donation website. And then I'm going to just quickly show you on a ticket event, because this also applies there. We have the same email platform there, just slightly different use cases. So for this email, I've done kind of a similar thing, except this is like a transactional kind of email where I'm thanking somebody for attending a past event. So I'm saying thank you to the person for attending the 2021 Craft Beer Fest. We are so grateful for your support. And then we'd like to recognize you for attending this event for the number of years that they attended. So this is a custom replacement tag that I imported with my CSV, or actually, yeah, for this it was a CSV, a custom list of people that had attended the event for multiple years. And so I'm pulling that data so that they can see, oh, wow, I've attended for 5 years. Like, they remember that. So it's really cool. If you have that data on people, you can really personalize it and make them feel like seen and that you're really appreciating their support just by sending them an email with a replacement tag. And then I just have a button that says learn more about the 2022 event with the link to the event page. You could also do a donate button here. If it's a thank you email, be like, thanks for attending, donate to our end of year fund or whatever. And then I just have the 2020 attendees up here because I'm thanking 2020 and 2021, and then the ticket purchasers from 2021. So again, if there's like overlap here, people are only going to get one copy of the email, which is really nice. And then I can review the email and send the same way I just did on the last tab. Steve, do you have anything to add to any of what I just showed?
You did an amazing job, number one. Number two, I do have one quick thing. I know there are some power users out there, folks that are very comfortable with editing HTML. So I just wanted to point out that we do have the ability, the button right next to replacement tags where you can input the source code and edit it. So if you are, have some very specific branding needs that for some reason the automated tools that are already there in the formatting box, you can really get nitty gritty and make sure that it looks exactly the way you want. The other thing I just wanted to point out, and Elizabeth, you kind of hit on this already about the replacement tags, but so we have those default placeholders. So if for some reason you're missing data for somebody, but you just want to have, like, instead of Dear Steve, it's Dear Friend. But make sure if you're going to be combining custom lists, that the data that you're bringing over has data for that placeholder that you're going to put in. So it's going to show on your drop down on if you have that placeholder in either of your lists. But if you don't have that data in one of the other lists, it's going to be blank. So you could use that default placeholder to put in something that's generic for everybody, but that may not make sense. You don't want to have, like, you raise $0, or I mean, maybe you do, and want to remind them that they could, change
Really
that zero into a higher number. But if it's something like you are a blank level person, you would want to make sure that all your custom lists have data for the people you're importing with that level, if you're going to use the placeholder. Otherwise, leave the placeholder tag out.
Yeah, so that's if you're using placeholders and using multiple lists, especially our default list, because our default lists aren't going to know what replacement tags you're going to import, so those don't have any, but you can combine that or put those people into your custom list so that you have a nice clean email where your tags will always work.
Elizabeth, we have a question on, editing the button. So if you want to scroll down, so that button automatically appears, Laura, who asked the question. And so when you click right on that button there, which highlights, there you go. So you can update the URL right there, as well as the text to display, and whether it's going to open to a new window or not. And then you can use some custom HTML in that source code to change the color of button, but what it does do is pull from your branding settings that you've put in, the colors that you've asked your whole site or your campaign to use. And that's a convenience thing for you, but it's also a way, some checks and balances to make sure that the style and look and feel is consistent.
Yep. So your emails will always look good. All right. Any other questions on that, or should we go back to presentation?
Let's see. I am checking our questions here. Do the contacts you uploaded for the email get added to the contacts, or is it just used for the email list? So these custom lists that are being, that you're creating, that is your email list. So if you wanted to import manual donations, or you wanted to import manual tickets and have that data in to use for other purposes, you would be doing that elsewhere in your menu. So let's see, Meryl, we can follow up more with you specifically to make sure that we're covering that question. And then let's see, we'll cover this next question at the end. But yeah, Elizabeth, I think we can go back to our presentation, and I just want to cover our action plan. So we've got all this amazing information. Y'all took notes. You're going to watch this a couple times in halftime after this just to double check you didn't miss anything. But here's what we're going to do with all that great information. So, and some of this applies to anything, not just on our platform, because again, we are always thinking about the needs of nonprofits, you know, of course the technology, but just what are the things that you all need to do to be successful, and then of course how it relates to what we can help you with using our tools and features. So, you know, first with this, establish your goal and your ask. Like, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to raise $10,000? Are you trying to increase your number of donors by 50%? And then define, what are you going to actually ask people for? Are you just going to ask them to share out the campaign on social media? Are you going to ask them to donate a specific amount? Are you going to ask them to sign up them and their family for your upcoming event? And then take a look at so once you've got that in mind, that's your top level, go back to your data and see what information do we have about our folks from the past that would be useful in reaching our goal and actually motivating them, incentivizing them to do the action from our ask. And segment your folks. And that's where you can create different lists that you might bring up as custom lists, and then target your emails. So you might create one email to go to one list and one to another. So I think that's really important to make sure that you're speaking in a voice that's relevant to the folks with their past relationship with you. And then in that same breath, identifying those opportunities for personalization. So the folks that have volunteered with you in the past and you're wanting to, you know, get them to donate more volunteer hours to you, you know, what number of hours did they volunteer in the last year, in the last 10 years? Those would be really relevant things that you would want to personalize in your email to them, and then make sure your custom list that you're uploading have that data. So then curating and importing the list. So now that you've analyzed your data, sit down and put on your favorite Netflix show and just crank out that database that you're going to upload, and make sure that it's going to do everything that you need for your campaign. And then create a customized, branded, and personalized email. So get in there and play around. Nobody is watching this. You don't have to send your email. You can just send it to yourself. But go in there and just play with it, add different elements. If you're brave, go and do some HTML if that hits you. You know, go in there and actually make that. And then and so I'm already hitting on this point, but I'm gonna hit again. So test, test, test. Once you get your email in place with your ask to your folks, send it to yourself, upload a custom list of, just like Elizabeth did, of folks that she works with. Your internal folks that you know are gonna give great feedback. Send that to them before you send it out to 5,000 people, and make sure that we catch any typos, you know, make sure the language speaks exactly the way you want it to, that the data replacement tags, the information that you're personalizing looks the way you want it to. And then of course, make sure you evaluate the success. So, you know, making sure that you're tracking on your end, you know, when that campaign went out, what kind of, you know, what that email sort of did, you know, to your donation levels or your number of donors, so that you can really measure what you did effectively. And then I think what's really important, and this is why combining custom and default lists is so helpful, is being able to follow up with folks. So you might do an initial ask, right, in an email, and you're going to exclude your current donors because maybe you've been accepting donations for 2 weeks. But what about, this is a 6-month campaign, you want to send another one in 4 months, and you like that language, you might tweak it a little bit, but you want to use the same custom list but exclude all those folks that have stepped up for you already. So you can continually follow up, almost like a drip campaign, right? And you're going to make sure that you are communicating with folks, reminding them how they can you know, support you, and they feel, you know, like, okay, this wasn't just a one-off thing, like this is really important to them, and I'm important in this effort and this initiative, because, you know, they're coming to me again, and they do need my help. So use these lists effectively to be able to follow up. So any other action steps, Elizabeth, you think that they need to take other than just do it, right? Like,
Yeah, get in there and mess around.
Giving Tuesday, you guys, it's something like over 2 billion was collected in 2020. So folks are out there and they want to donate. They want to contribute to amazing causes that mean something to them. And you've got the data, so put this into action and watch that support come in. So I think we're going to cover, let's see, I think we covered all the questions except one was, if we are using RunSignup, does that info carry over to GiveSignup? So what's great as a recent development is we have a single sign-on now. So what that means is that if you have a RunSignup account and you log in with GiveSignup, you can create a donation form and it's going to use the default values for folks that are on your profile. If you have a payment account with us already, you can associate that as long as it's met the requirements and been approved as a 501c3, because our GiveSignup products inside are very focused on nonprofits. We're a purpose-built platform to serve the needs and to help nonprofits grow. So so the answer is you do not, it will carry over. And if you have any specific needs, like please follow up. Again, we're going to be sending that email with the recorded version of this. And if you ever just want to get on the phone with myself or Elizabeth or any one of members of our team to go over anything, even if you just want us to review your donation form or your email before you do that scary thing and click send, we are so happy to do that. We want you to be successful. So let's see if there's any other questions. Don't see any others coming in. So, oh yes, thank you, Elizabeth. I almost forgot. We gotta get this on the calendar. All right. So everyone have a great, safe holiday next week, but come back to us. We're going to talk about complex ticket events or advanced ticket events and about how to use these replacement tags and really drill down into the event side of things. So if you've got an upcoming event, this is a great one for you. A big goal of this is, and we know we've got all those emails like, where's parking? Did I buy a ticket? Which one did I buy again? What day am I coming? What session am I coming to? These are all things that you can do with data replacement tags, personalizing these emails that we covered today, but specifically help your event logistics, reduce the lift on your support team. So, all right. Anything else, Elizabeth? No, not forgetting anything, am I?
Unless we have any last questions.
I don't see any in the window pane. So thank you all so much. I'm sorry we went a little bit over. We're trying to keep these right at 30 minutes and we'll work on that for next time. Well, progress, not perfection. And we just appreciate everyone out there that's already with GiveSignup, RunSignup using our platform. And for those of you that are new, welcome. We are here, we've got your back and can't wait to hear from you and help you be successful. So thanks everybody.
Thanks everyone.